I now call to order the City Council meeting of May 11th, 2026, time 7 p.m. Tonight's opening prayer will be delivered by Deacon Bill Lambert. Coming tonight.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we stand before you as we gather together. With you alone to guide us, make yourself at home in our hearts. Teach us the way we must go and how we are to pursue it. Don't let us promote disorder. Don't let ignorance lead us down the wrong path or partiality influence our actions. Let us find in you our unity so that we may journey together in finding the right choices for our town. All this we ask of you, who are at work in every place and time. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Ott, will you please call the roll?
Member Pierpont.
Here.
Member Orr. Member Wyrick.
Here.
Member Matheny.
Here.
Member McCleister.
Here.
Member Pratt.
Here.
Member Stocker.
Here.
6 present.
I get a motion to excuse Mr. Ford.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excused. I get a motion to approve as presented the minutes from the April 20th, 2026 Committee of the Whole. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Is there a motion to approve as presented the April 2026 Finance Report?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do not believe we have anyone signed up for public speaks on agenda items. Move into new business. Believe. Old business, new business. This is the second reading, isn't it? Yep. Thank you. Mr. Ott, will you please read the title of ordinance 18/2026?
An ordinance establishing Chapter 165, real property transactions of the codified ordinances of the City of North Canton, thereby establishing provisions for the disposition of real property owned by the city.
All right, we've talked about this a number of times. I'm unaware of any changes, nothing over there, okay? And this, as we discussed, is, just changing the way in which we're able to dispense of, real property. So, any questions, comments, okay? All right, with that, I would move that we approve the, second reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we'll move on to new business. Mr. Ott, will you please read the title of ordinance 19/2026 and cover the proposed amendments to go with that?
Absolutely. So the title is an ordinance amending Chapter 163, Contracts and Purchasing, specifically subsection 163.04A, purchases and contracts over the bidding threshold of the codified ordinances of the City of North Canton, to remove the requirement of a voice vote of council for approval of contracts and purchases following Board of Control approval. So I do, after last week's committee discussion, have a couple amendments. So the first is amending the title of the legislation to read an ordinance amending Chapter 163, Contracts and Purchasing, specifically subsection 163.04A, purchases and contracts over the bidding threshold of the codified ordinances of the City of North Canton, to remove the requirement of a voice vote of council for approval of contracts and purchases following Board of Control approval, to align more closely with the Board of Control's charter-defined authority and ensure the timely approval of contracts and purchases. So the intent of this title change after last week's discussion is to clarify, what specifically the intent of this ordinance is, which is to align it better with the Board of Control's charter-defined authority, and remove that step that may be conflicting in the event that council were to not approve under consideration a contract that has already been awarded by the Board of Control. The second amendment is an additional whereas clause in the top part of the legislation that reads, in place of a voice vote by council, the city administration shall report on contracts and purchases approved by the Board of Control at a subsequent regular council meeting. So this is sort of the notification requirement that you guys had suggested. And city administration or finance, whatever relevant party, we can provide the update on any contracts awarded by the Board of Control, just as a part of their normal reports. And that just formalizes that promise that they made to provide a report once things are approved, rather than doing a vote under consideration. And that's about it.
I think the majority of the concern was just over transparency of the process and what was taking place. Mr. Pratt, anything else from your committee?
No, I guess the only question I have is, when would the notification be required to be shared? Would that happen within so much time of whenever that decision's made?
So as it's written, it's just subsequent regular council meeting, so it could be the one immediately following or the next one after that, whichever one makes the most sense for the approval of the contract. Just, depending on how the Board of Control meeting falls. If the Board of Control meeting happens to be the same day as a regular council meeting, it may be, a little bit too soon to have everything together to speak on it. And it could roll to the next one, whatever the administration would feel comfortable with. You'd still get it.
Okay. I think that's all of them.
Any questions? Thoughts? I will make a motion to amend ordinance 19/2026 as Liam has presented. Take a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. 19/2026 is amended. Is there a motion to adopt the first reading of 19/2026 as amended?
Motion to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Thank you for doing that, Liam, and adding that to the process.
Absolutely.
Okay. We now move on to recognition of the public. Mr. Ott, will you please read the preamble?
At this time, members of the public who have signed up to address City Council will be called to do so. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes. Speakers shall be called in the order they signed up. During this section, comments shall be limited to items reasonably under the city's authority. The rules for speaking and the speaker's time will appear on the screens. After you have finished speaking, please remain at the podium to answer questions from the officials of the dais.
Mr. Rohrbaugh, you have signed up. Name and address when you start, please.
Rohrbaugh, 217 Hallam Street Southwest, North Canton, Ohio. All right, hello, everybody. First public service announcement to all those out in YouTube land. YouTube can come on any regular scheduled council meeting on a Monday night and stand here and speak publicly to city council and administration instead of sitting on social media and griping. So that was a public service announcement. Now onto our program. First off, I forgot last episode, I had a brief other thing. I ended quick, but I also got kind of, I get up here, you all get nervous. I also wanted to briefly mention, and I forget what actually triggered the event other than a bigger event, about us just losing community events. Right now, the North Canton, Orange Crush football. They have a fundraiser golf tournament, and it's going to go up at the golf course there in Uniontown along Mayfair Road, I believe, instead of at Arrowhead. So, so that's one thing. We have our golf course. It's our high school. I mean, it doesn't belong to the city, and the Orange Crush is their own organization, but it's just a thing. Also, another thing that's really out of the city control, but we don't have any other place for them, is the Chamber of Commerce's Brews and Bourbon that previously was at MAPS, which was already out of the city, and now it's at whatever they named the Rubber Ducks Stadium in downtown Akron. Not really blaming Chamber of Commerce. I don't know what I'm blaming. I'm just putting it out there as just a conversation that we've got nothing. Maybe somebody can work out some kind of better relationship with Walsh, that would have been great out at, Hoover Park. Seems pretty big to me. We got shade, everything else like that. So anyhow, geez. All right, so why I'm up here tonight. So last Tuesday, I had the privilege of joining in with anybody else in the community at the community envisioning session, the future of downtown North Canton. As soon as that popped up, boom, I was like, yep, I'm there. I've been all about it. Everybody's heard me talk about Main Street. I'm all in. My fault for not reading the details. I go there expecting to get like a presentation of what we're gonna do with Main Street. Instead, I got a sales pitch how to start an organization about what we're gonna do with it. It didn't talk once about bringing up business. It talked about saving historical businesses or historical buildings. We don't really have any. We got 1 and 3 churches, no offense to the church, but we've got 3 churches, a Y, and 1 historical building that half of it's burnt down and been removed for a lower building on the corner of Main and Maple. And then the other, I guess you'd call them historical because they're all about 50 years old, everything else down Main Street. But anyhow, I'm not trying to put down the program. What I'm getting at is, so last October, I go to a meet the candidates session at the Champions. And during that, one candidate mentions this Main Street initiative. I come in the following council meeting, sitting right up front there. I come back here, I ask about said meeting. I got crickets. Everybody, the 7 sitting there, over there, crickets, nobody. I sat back down in that seat right there. Maybe it's over there. Maybe 10 to 20 minutes later, one council member spoke up. Oh, after 20 minutes of crickets, and some other, I think even Mr. McAdams might have spoke after that. So why the secret? I find out that person that spoke up is leading the group, and it's been leading for a mission, a vision that started in 2018. So it wasn't brand new. There's been meetings that we found out prior to last week with this woman coming to take a tour, but yet it was a big secret. Why is our Main Street a secret? That's all. Anybody?
Questions for Mr. Rohrbach? Thank you very much for speaking.
Thank you.
Moving into department reports. Mr. Boyd, please lead us off.
All right. Well, we haven't had our official council meeting since the gala, which was wonderful. It went very well, I thought. I had a great time. And I think everybody that was there did too. And thank you for the sponsorships that were there. The auction items did really well. Trisha did an amazing job. How much was it?
$3,200.
Jeez, that's great. Yeah.
All donated items. So that's just all.
That's fantastic. So thank you to Trisha, if you're listening. If not, I'll tell you tomorrow. So on this past weekend, actually on the Thursday, I started the morning off by marrying I should rephrase this, officiating. I don't want to start any rumors. I officiated a wedding at 10 a.m. and then had the National Day of Prayer. So what a great day that was. It was perfect, beautiful, sunny, amazing. There are still flags available for the America 250, the banners and all that stuff. We do have those available as well. Coming up, there is the 720 market, and that is May 16th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then we have the Memorial Day Parade, which is sponsored by run by the Lions Club at 9 a.m. And then the annual mayor's ceremony is immediately following at Bitzer Park. And also, it is National Police Week. So if you see a police officer, you should thank them for their service and what they do for our community. And that's all I've got. I'm good.
Director of Administration.
Thank you. So I have just a few things, and then I also have 2 special guests that are here tonight. because we know how North Canton loves our streets. So we have our engineer who builds them and our superintendent of streets who keeps them looking good in all 4 seasons. And they're gonna talk a little bit about some stuff. So, but I'll start with saying, the biggest announcement that I have tonight is that the city of North Canton, after our long process of getting the parks planning development administrator position approved and then posted and had a lot of response. We had a lot of very qualified candidates apply, a lot of people that do this job and do it somewhere else and said, hey, I want to do it in North Canton, which is a huge compliment to us as a city. We went through the interview process and we have selected a candidate and we made the offer and he accepted the offer. And he will be starting with us on May 26th, so right after Memorial Day. And his name is Michael Elkins, and he is from the city of Greene. So a little bit about Michael. He has worked in public service for 33 years, starting in the city of Aurora, and most recently being the superintendent of planning and development for the city of Greene. He is exactly what, when we went through the process, what we were looking for. He is really really ran a parks department as far as implementing the vision of the parks department with grant writing, budgeting, strategic planning, experience in design development, visioning, concept development, bid processes, construction. He had a lot of good input of, Greene's a little ahead of us on some things, like with the ADA compliance, really important legal stuff we need to be looking at and having a plan to make sure that our parks are all ADA compliant. He has managed and implemented the city's 5 and 10 years parks recreation master plans that they have done. They did one in 2006 and another one in 2020. So he also, just has a real passion, obviously, for parks, just demonstrating the value and benefits parks have on the quality of life to the community and economic development. Had a lot of experience in successful acquisition of grant funding for facility construction, land acquisition, historic preservation. He's a member of OPRA, the Ohio Parks and Recs Association, and NRPA, the National Recreation and Park Association. So wealth of experience. It was a tough decision process, but I had a team of 5 and we had Jim and Gina and we had Jason and I, and then Kelly Hart from our Human Resources Department. And we, sat across 5 people, just pounding them with questions. And we came down to the selection. And so we offered Mike and he accepted. We'll start, May 26th. We're excited to have him on the team to be a visionary director in our parks that North Canton people love so much. So that's all I have. Without further ado, I don't know if you want to go to the guys or follow Jason and leave them to the end, but.
We'll leave them to the end.
Okay, special guests.
We're gonna finish with Rob.
I will be very brief for our 2 guest stars. So, just to build on what Catherine said, I think it's a really important time for the city. I know you all know that better than I do, but with bringing on someone to lead our parks planning initiative, with the Main Street North Canton, it's very early stage of kicking off. A lot of you may have seen, if you didn't, you'll see it next time you drive by, the for sale sign went up on the Hoover West Factory today. So it's an important time for the city, I think, with a lot of different things coming together around Main Street or public spaces. And discussions about infrastructure. So that'll be my segue into our 2 colleagues on the other side of the table. But I'm happy to be here and try to think about how can we make strategic decisions today that are going to affect residents 20, 30 years from now. I think it's very exciting and there's a lot of promise for the city. And that was it.
Thank you. Director of Finance.
Okay, sorry, guys. They're gonna be the big shebang at the end. So I just want to hit just real quickly on the monthly finance report. Sometimes we talk about it a little bit and sometimes there's not much to talk about, but this was the end of the first quarter plus a month because it was the end of April, which normally we would say how income tax is doing. But remember, because we're with Rita, we are 1 month behind. So May, the end of May, going into June, we'll actually have better numbers for you on income tax. However, we still like to watch it very closely because this is the first year collecting the 0.5% from most, at least withholding companies. And right now we're at 3.37%. So it's nothing to really like get super, super excited about, but we do see that it has increased a little bit. And then I wanted to flip, I know you don't have the report in front of you, but we do have a graph on page 3 that shows you the general fund balance. And again, it's just a graph to show you the trend through the year. So general fund, you know, obviously increases with income tax because that's our main fund and our main revenue source. So the highs and the lows are a little bit off during the COVID year. Remember, they delayed the income tax filing deadline. But you'll see that going down this April, and you're gonna wonder why, and I'm gonna remind you then that it is because of the 0.5% income tax replacing fire EMS levies. And so we are transferring about $1.5 million more this year to those funds, with the promise of passing that levy. So, I just wanted to note that in case somebody did notice that. And then our investments, because we do have, the 15 million fire station bonds invested. It really is skewing our investment number. We're invested at 95% funds right now, which is rather high. We're usually closer to around 85%, but some of that is liquid, and the fire station will be bringing you the guaranteed maximum price next council meeting, and then we'll get that project rolling. So, okay.
Thank you. Move over to Mr. Grant.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess we can start off with our 3 infrastructure projects. One, we kind of added to the budget, and that's the first one that's going to start construction, and that's our Apple Grove Northwest resurfacing. We had bid that out actually early March, got a great price from North Star Asphalt, which is Wanger Companies, who's also a sponsor of the gala. I want to get that in there for them. That work to resurface Apple Grove, and we'll go from just a little bit as a joint, just a little bit west of North Main Street. And we'll end about halfway between Janet and Pittsburgh. But if you look at our torque line, it's not all our street, Pittsburgh. So it'd be nice if we could, but really can't pave another jurisdiction streets. But we're looking at starting on Wednesday with curb and sidewalk repairs. And then if the weather holds, milling and fabric and the intermediate course of asphalt starting next week. So that'll be the first of our 3. And as you recall, we got SCAS money to cover 80% of the project cost. And then we got 10% of the cost through another program, full revenue credit. We get money back from Turnpike bond use for bonds that they sell. 10%'s on us. Second project, and it's been a while, but we've talked about it. It was in the newsletter. Street Northeast, waterline replacement and roadway reconstruction. That we found out late in the game that we got Ohio Public Works funds as well, up to 24% of the project, or 24% of the project cost, up to $241,300. That's been bid out. Superior Paving has been awarded, but the grant money is not available till after July 1st. So they're looking to get in very early in July and get going on that project. And then in my absence, there's been a little bit of talk about our West Maple Street project right out in front. That's going from Lindy Lane to Wise to Whipple. And we have $825,353 in OPWC funds. And that's up to 49% of the project cost, up to that amount. That one we haven't bid out yet. There's also a water line component from Sheridan to Wise. We've got a 60-year-old water line that we want to get out. But we're looking at bidding that probably in September. I know with Price Park being booked for the summer, the shelters, I didn't want to interfere with all those bookings. So we'll probably look to start construction in September. And then delay it over the winter and then finish it about this time next year. Like to get it in before the graduation parties and whatnot start. Good plan. Because I know there's been some discussion. Was it this year? Is it next year? Well, it's kind of both. But the paving will be next year.
Rob, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, lastly, you've probably seen not so sexy with the grants and all the fun stuff. We're just about done. One more street, our crack sealing program. We've probably seen a lot of tar all over town filling those joints. The enemy to any street is water. It's literally kryptonite like the Superman. And you seal those cracks, and believe it or not, we're gonna have about 30,000 pounds of tar. So 15 tons over the last month or so. And to keep that water out. ODOT was down for a pre-construction meeting for the Apple project. Happened to see that being done, and they were so impressed. They have a term, pavement management. And, yeah, they complimented us for that.
Good job.
Unless there's any questions, I can, Matt?
Just a quick question. On the Apple Grove project, you mentioned the company that went out on the bid. Do you know offhand how many bid on that project?
I believe we had 5.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Matt, is this your first time talking in front of council?
It is,
You're welcome.
How about a little introduction, what you do, and help us out on that end, and then
Yeah.
the floor is yours.
So for those who don't know me, I'm superintendent of service. I got that right.
That's right, that's the new title, that is sewer and parks.
Yeah, I've been with the city for 28 years, all in the street department, and I was promoted in 2020 after our old boss decided to leave. So with me being in like in command or however you say it, I wanted to implement like a paving program. I felt there was a need because our alleys were in such disrepair. So I believe in 2022, we got a paver and a skid steer machine with a grinder attachment. So with getting used to the paver and our whole paving program, the bottleneck of the whole situation was the grinding part. So it would take us maybe 2 to 3 weeks to do one alley, to grind it and clean it up. So with this last budget cycle, I talked with Catherine administration about getting a little milling machine, and we got that 2 weeks ago. It's just a baby version of the bigger ones that you see with North Star and Superior and what they do. So this milling machine will mill 24 inches wide, 8 inches deep. And the biggest thing, which is a huge time saver, is it has a conveyor that loads our trucks automatically. So there's some pictures that we took. We just milled Fair Oaks in between 7th and 5th. And what would have taken us probably 2 to 3 weeks, it was done in a day. I mean, it's such a time saver for approving that piece of machinery. It's awesome.
I wish you could put up the video.
Excellent.
We have a short video we can show you if you want to see it later too. There's a little video
It
action.
moves so fast. It built a 10-ton dump truck within like 10, 15 minutes. And that, it was a training day, so we can get a lot faster with it. So yeah, so it's much needed. So if you have any questions about that or anything else, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, it seemed like a quick learning curve, do you think?
It does. The biggest thing, and their trainer was an actual mechanic, and it was his first time training. So the biggest thing is zeroing out the mill to the crown of the road. And we kind of wanted to do it on an alley because there's no real crown, and you're dealing with a lot of angles. And it milled it perfectly. It's nice and level throughout the whole alley.
Cool. Is there maintenance involved that we can do, or do we have to do it?
So the biggest maintenance of that piece of machinery is changing out the teeth, which we can do. As far as getting it serviced when its hours are ready, probably send it to the Michelin company up in Hudson to have them go over the machine and change the fluids and the filters.
Certainly appreciate your forward thinking. It's an area where, yes, it's the investment on the front side, but you and your crew all willing to learn new jobs and how to take care of that. It's helping the city. So, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
One of the things that we've talked about is the patching of it, in addition to the alleys. You know, we may have a residential street that maybe just has a couple of bad spots, 8 feet wide by 200 feet long, but the rest of the pavement's okay. With that, Matt, we go in with that machine, mill out that bad spot, put that asphalt back, roll it. Doesn't look so pretty, but at least it buys us time until we can catch back up with our pavement program.
Yeah, and we can do smaller roads, like we did Shaker Dead End off the Terrace. We've done Ashley in between Orion and Sunnyfield. We plan to do Greenway between Knoll and Meadow Lane this year, and possibly Carlton. I was out checking that today, and that's pretty torn up too. So like little width streets, because our paver can only pave 13 feet per pass.
Anything else for the gentleman in the street world? I guess, let's get on the paver and the grinder, become part of the pavement type thing, so we're moving forward. Leaps and bounds, but steady. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Council Clerk.
Nothing substantial, just happy to report that we have a summer intern that will be starting with us next week. Her name is Annie Wendt. She's a student at Kent State University. Very bright young woman, and I'm excited to have her. There's a lot of things that I've had on the back burner that'll be nice to have somebody to help me do some research and get some things spec'd out for the future. So just a nice welcome to Annie. And I'll have her come to council a couple times, hopefully. So you guys should get to meet her. Plus, you guys are in and out of my office, so she'll be there if you need anything.
Okay, thank you. Council reports. Ms. Pierpont, you start off.
Sure can. As the mayor mentioned, it is National Law Enforcement Police Week. I've noticed a lot of communities having some memorial ceremonies and things to remember those and fallen in the line of duty. Well, I don't think we've had that scenario here. I think it's nice to see those people, using the week for that recognition. If you see our law enforcement out and about, because they're everywhere, please, stop them and say thank you for everything they do. And on the same subject, if you saw in the social media account for the police department, I think it was at the beginning of this month, they announced that they had been accepted into what's called the Ohio Collaborative Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. And I had to look this up and find out exactly what that meant to all of us. It is a voluntary, multi-phase, self-paced process that we entered into on our own initiative. So we took that on. And I'll just read a real quick quote from that site. I thought it said it best. Citizens who are served by accredited agencies can have confidence that their law enforcement agency operates with the highest regard for proficiency and integrity. And I think that absolutely is like what you would see in the definition of our North Canton Police Department. So congratulations to them on that effort. I also wanted to say I attended the America 250 Gala. I had fun. I don't get to get dressed up and go out often. So that was neat to do and to see the rest of you that were there. I think you said $3,200 on just the raffles. That's fantastic. So again, thank you to Trisha and all those who were part of that planning, because that was really great. We just don't do those things like that here in North Canton. So I think we should continue something like that into 251 and 252 and whatever else. So more of that would be great. I attended the Main Street North Canton meeting on Tuesday. And I went into it not knowing a whole lot about it. I kind of thought it would be similar to what Mr. Warbaugh said, in the sense that I would just be asked, what kinds of things do you want to see in North Canton? It was a much bigger deal than I thought that it was. And so I would just request if we could get some updates to council on an ongoing basis of where things stand with that project. It sounds like it's a year-long initiative. It is supported at this point by taxpayer dollars. So the more we can communicate with people what's happening with that effort, what are the intentions behind it, I think that would be great. I did wonder how we selected stakeholders for this committee. Historically here in the city, I've seen us have focus groups, steering committees, however we want to label those groups, as community members be offered either here on the floor of council, or maybe an application process online, or, council was nominating people they knew in the community who might be good individuals for these roles. And I don't remember ever being asked for any of that for this particular event. So I would question, who are these stakeholders? How were they selected? And if they do go on, as I understand it, to become board members of an organization long-term, that's all the more reason why that's important to me. So going forward, I would like to, focus on how we select people in our community to represent us, and that's my feedback on that. The Parks Master Plan, I don't know where we're at with hearing on that. The last thing that I had heard, I thought we had received the plan. I think you said steering committee was gonna meet last week. I don't know if you guys have any update on that.
It is, May 21st. May
Okay.
21st. Yeah.
And
We met last week, just that they had a draft.
to go through
kind
what
of
they
like,
had
yeah, go through
provided.
it. And
Okay,
now the final one will be May 21st, and then the date will be set to come to council. So
Okay.
we'll look at it and that's I'm like, what's the next council available after May 21st? And that would be Grant Senator Carroll coming to present it all, and then, possibly adoption of the plan. And
Okay.
hopefully we'll have, we should probably have our new person in place at that time.
will there
They're
be
starting the
some
26th.
time between when they come to present that, between then and when we would approve that plan? Like, I don't.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna ask one it ahead of time too. I can
No,
do
I
that.
don't mean it that way. I
It's
just
a
didn't want
long-
to have them present it and then I'm
digest
voting
it.
on it 10 minutes
Oh, yeah,
later.
no, it's
Okay.
not gonna be that.
All right. Was there an agreed upon timeline with Branstetter Carroll about when they were going to give us this plan?
Yes.
Because we've been awaiting it for quite some
Yeah.
time.
It was in the original RFP that it was 9 months.
And how
So-
long has it been?
Well, it's just over 9 months.
Okay,
The draft,
all right.
but it did say draft to us in 9 months. They
Okay.
did have the draft by April, started in September and April, and so. yeah.
Okay, so soon. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And then the last piece I'll just mention is there were some new barriers installed on Apple Grove, just east of
Oh,
Main
yeah.
Street, and it's all I'm hearing about.
Yeah, it's Rob can
And it's
tell you
all
about
positive
that.
feedback. It's amazing what makes people happy in this town. Barriers is it. So, and I thought I heard that they've already had a few knocked down. I know that happens. But whoever, managed that project and got that going, thank you. From a lot of people. I've heard that a lot today, so. And that's what I've got.
Is what?
All right, I appreciate the questions about the Main Street revitalization effort, so I will address a little bit of that. I think, this really started as an exploratory effort with multiple community partners, and now it's expanding and moving forward. We're still learning how the whole thing's going to develop. We're definitely nowhere near to a presentation about what we're gonna do with Main Street, not even close to that. And as far as the stakeholders, Heritage Ohio gave us a list of, you need people who kind of fit these categories. You need people from city government, you need educator, you need an attorney, you need an architect. I'm not gonna remember all of them. But I think, this isn't simply a city project. Several of the other stakeholders have contributed in kind to things for this. So there are tax dollars involved, but there are other of the stakeholders who have also been contributing. So really, I'm happy to get, more info out. I'm happy to have conversations about it. I think, I think this is a positive thing, and I hope we can all be excited about it. But I understand that there are questions, and I'm happy to address those.
Thank you.
That's all.
All right, I had 4 things on my list. 3 of them have been covered already, but I'm still gonna talk about it. So, first off, I want to thank Rob and Matt for coming this evening, because one of the things I had on here was the Fair Oaks Alley. I drove by the other day and I'm like, I wonder if that milling machine is coming in. So now to hear that it has come in, that's great. It looks pretty cool. I'm excited to see what it looks like with the asphalt on there. So thanks for the info, and thank you to John for being here. Always good to see you. So there's also mentioned National Police Week, so I won't belabor the point. Just if you see one of our police officers, say thank you. Also was going to say thank you for the gala. That was a pretty interesting experience. The discussion by Mr. Jefferson was not at all what I was expecting, but it was pretty kind of cool. So definitely big kudos to Tricia for putting that on. And the last one isn't even about my ward, It's actually about Dave's board, and I emailed him when I emailed, Catherine about it. I want to give a big thank you to you guys, actually, about Willow Creek over there. So I actually got a call or a text message, which then prompted a call with the resident. Mrs. I don't want to date myself, but I've known the family for over 30 years, and, he said that he was going out for his cup of coffee, and he looked outside, he's like, by golly, I think they're working on the street. So he was extremely appreciative, and I said that I'd pass it along. So thank you guys very much. So that's all I got.
Mr. Brennan. Shout out to Liam for managing my many pothole, requests, dead animals and abandoned trash. It's been a busy past 2 weeks, so, thanks to Liam. Wanted to thank the police department for, helping out some concerns near Arrowhead in the Salway vicinity with some traffic concerns. We got the speed sign up, as of this morning, it was up and, operational. So, thanks to Chief for helping us with that. Also wanted to shout out Officer Hippich. Spotted her today running radar on Everhard, and then later in the day, I saw her watching stop signs down on Lindy Lane. And it really excites me when I see folks out doing that, because keeping the neighborhood safe and under control is really important to me. There's tons of kids out all across the city, and I really appreciate it. As far as the Parks Master Plan, thanks for that feedback. Just wanted to say thanks to our firefighters for helping provide mutual aid to Jackson with the Fosnap fire last week. We all got to be reminded what it's like to have a fire department. The amount of smoke that was coming off of that, I mean, luckily they were able to put that out with the help of a few departments pretty quickly, I thought. And I'm glad that our guys were able to help them. Shout out to Rob and Matt for coming in tonight. Also wanted to thank Ed Martinez for some feedback that I think Jeff's going to probably lead with. And also the gala, thanks to Tricia setting up everything, and for everyone that came out to join in the start of the 250 festivity. So nothing further. Thanks.
Mr. Stockers. Yep, thank you. So also wanted to thank Tricia for the gala event. It was great. I don't know what I was expecting from Thomas Jefferson, but yeah, it's pretty good. I wanted to also mention the 720 market. North Canton is home to the 720 market. It's their hometown HQ. Those are two, it's a married couple who, it's their company that puts it on, and this is their home. So it started 10 years ago. It's starting in North Canton again this year. And there is also an America 250 theme. So Saturday, 10 to 3. I wanted to welcome Mr. Elkins. As somebody who occasionally has to reroute my commute, whether it be in the morning or in the evening through the city of Green. I'm familiar with the city. I've coached some baseball games up there. I'm familiar with their parks. And Mr. Elkins has been, there's been a massive change in their park system over the past 10 or so years, and he's played a major part. And so considering what we're on the verge of in terms of this parks master plan and all, I think the timing is excellent, that we've got such an experienced and well-qualified person coming. So congratulations to Mr. Elkins, but also congratulations to Catherine on what appears to be a great hire. So thank you. And then, last, as the utilities chair, I would like to point out that North Canton's water system and our water supply are in absolutely great hands. And the Fosnap fire last Monday highlighted that. Last Thursday morning, I did reach out to our water superintendent, Ted Martinez, over email, and I asked if there was any potential hazardous chemicals from the fire that might have impacted our water supply. By that afternoon, Tad had replied to Mayor Stroya, our city administrators, and I with incredible detail, including the location of our dresswater well in relation to Fosnot's property, what type of contaminant might infiltrate a water system from a salvage yard fire, the city's water testing process and the cadence, and how our water department actually never runs the dresswater well field by itself, but it's always blended with 5 other wells. All of that was basically to say that we've had 0 impact to our water supply. But if that's not enough, and out of an abundance of caution, the city will not run the dresswater well for the next month. So that report that Mr. Martinez gave to me, that's the same report that Liam then forwarded over to all the members of council. So I want to thank Mr. Martinez for an incredibly detailed report and the promptness of his reply. His work and the work of his team is impressive and it's very confidence inspiring. I would also like to thank Utilities Vice Chair, Member McCleister, for he was initially the person that recommended that I reach out to Tad. In fact, it was Monday before council. He called me and he said, "Hey, Utilities Chair, this is what happened a couple years ago. You should probably do this." So I appreciate the teamwork and the collaboration on that. And then also thanks to Mayor Stroya for providing some additional background leading up to the call. So thank you. That's my report.
Thank you for following up on it. So,
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I think all the thank yous have been made. I want to go back and repeat all of those. We do have a great city. We are moving in the right direction. We are fortunate that we have additional wells to maintain our water supply in a safe manner. That's a major resource for our city. So thanks to everybody. It's the little things that you do every day that may go unnoticed, but make the biggest impact in the long run. So keep doing everything that you're doing, making our city great. Final call for new business. Seeing none, the meeting calendar, May 18th, we will have a committee of the whole, and there will be no meeting on May 25th. That is the holiday. I will make the motion to adjourn.
real quick, I had heard rumblings that we had talked about adding a council meeting on May 18th. Is that
That's
correct
right.
rumblings or not?
Liam, we did have a conversation about that.
That would be up to you guys to amend your meeting calendar. I don't
Do that
build
now.
those in.
Thank you for bringing that up. I would like to add a council meeting on the 18th to follow immediately after the committee of the whole. You do a vote on that?
So yeah, you'll need a motion to amend the meetings calendar to,
Motion to amend to add the council meeting, start immediately after the committee of the whole meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. McCleister. Okay. And then no meeting on the 25th. I will make a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.